Hello and welcome. This is Doug and Courtney, and we have put together this video to help everyone get on the same page when it comes to all the educational terms that get thrown around.
We want to start with a disclaimer, which is that we have no expectation that a PowerPoint on educational vocabulary is high on the list of how you want to spend the next 12 minutes. So we'll do our best to provide this information clearly with the expectation that you will be reading along.
And if we are lucky, we may even be able to provide some humor along the way. Our ultimate goal is not falling into Oscar Wilde's trap of being so clever that sometimes we don't understand a single word of what we are saying. But you get to be the gauge of that.
We're going to begin with the educational terms of goal, objective, and outcome. As you're reading these definitions, know that we could have long discussions on the differences between these three terms. And some of you may have already experienced this. But in the end, it probably doesn't matter.
What does matter is knowing that we use these same terms in describing lessons, courses, and programs, and because we are so accustomed to trying to make our world faster, we have a tendency to drop the contextual words.
For instance, instead of saying the program goal, we just say goal. And instead of saying the course outcome, we just say outcome. While this can work if everyone comes into the conversation with the same background information, and no one is multitasking, really, Doug? Stop texting. Usually, our brevity just leads to this.
Therefore, we're going to begin with the context that you will need to understand. The first is the State Board of Education General Education Framework. And here we are talking about how the Idaho State Board of Education. Next, we have the context of the CWI Academic Affairs Division.
FYI, this is who you work for if you teach a general education course.
And the General Education Program, which embodies the courses that make up a new certificate students are able to obtain upon reaching this milestone within their academic careers. As we move through the rest of the information, we will be relating the terms to these three contexts.
And for those of you feeling like this, there is a reason why we have so many contexts. That is, we have to align our courses in multiple ways. Instructional alignment is about making sure that our student outcomes achieved in my Sociology 101 class are congruent with Doug's, and both of our classes are congruent with the expected outcomes determined by the SBOE and CWI.
More specifically, alignment with the SBOE can be understood within these three definitions. We have the broad definition of the General Education Framework, which is supported by the definition of the General Education Matriculation, or GEM competency areas, and the GEM competency areas, which are defined by either a way of knowing or an integrative skill.
This visual depicting the hierarchy helps me to understand how all the pieces work together.
While a framework is important, the details of the GEM competency areas and integrative skills or way of knowing will have more immediate impact on your classes.
Moving away from the State Board of Education context, we will move into course alignment within academic affairs, where we have a mission and objectives.
Again, we like this hierarchical depiction to help you see how the alignment works.
The academic affairs objectives will have more direct impact on your courses.
It is also important to note that all courses that are part of academic affairs, which means anything that applies to general education, or an Associates of Arts or Sciences, will align to these same objectives.
What Doug is trying to say is that you will see a lot of these.
Moving on, we get into the general education philosophy. This is the idea that the general education core provides a broad-based learning foundation designed to prepare students for personal, communal, and global responsibility.
And we align this philosophy by meeting the general education objectives of learn to learn, solve problems, make connections, reason ethically, creative thinking, and global citizenship. So the big takeaway that we want you to understand is that your general education course aligns to both a GEM competency area of an integrative skill or way of knowing and the CWI general education philosophy and objectives which are aligned to the academic affairs mission.
This is a lot of information that is really meant to help you understand the big picture. But I know that some of you are feeling like this.
Yes, we are getting there presently with the discussion of outcomes. In order to demonstrate that we are aligned to a GEM competency, our courses have to meet specific outcomes. The two integrative skills of oral communication and written communication are listed on this slide.
By the way, we had a lot of text on these slides as we know that you only really care about what aligns to your course.
The social and behavioral ways of knowing, as well as the scientific ways of knowing, are listed on this slide. As you're reading these, keep in mind that they are written in terms of what the course and not the student will do, so they might sound a bit different than what you're accustomed to seeing.
Also, it is important to remember that one of the greatest benefits the GEM competencies provide is more transparency of course outcomes. What this means is that transferability will be easier for our students, and that is such an important gift to give students that currently graduate with too much excess credits and debt. And finally, you will see the mathematical ways of knowing and the humanistic and artistic ways of knowing. So Courtney, have you noticed what is missing in this information that you are accustomed to seeing in GE requirements?
Yes. Where does it say that I need to take Psych, Biology, and English 101 like I had to?
Exactly. Competencies aren't about the traditional buckets and course numbers that we likely experienced during our own education. The GEM competencies place a higher value on the delivery of the knowledge than the 3 or 4 letter content designations.
Doug, I think we need to pause for a moment and think about that. This is a big shift, isn't it?
Absolutely. Whew, I'm getting tired, are you?
We're almost done, I promise. Okay, moving on to the General Education Program Objectives. These are critical for you to understand and begin to internalize, so I think we need to read them aloud. Solve problems. The process of defining a problem, designing and implementing a solution strategy to answer an open-ended question or achieve a desired goal, and evaluating the outcome and implications of the solution strategy.
Learn to learn. Students understanding their own learning as a personal pursuit that requires a level of self-guided navigation, perseverance, and resilience as obstacles and challenges present themselves. Students will become active participants in their pursuit of knowledge.
Make connections, transferring knowledge across contexts and linking academic knowledge with personal experience.
Reason ethically. Ethical reasoning is concerned with right and wrong human behaviors. It requires students to be able to assess their own ethical values and the social context of problems, recognize ethical issues in a variety of settings, think about how different ethical perspectives might be applied to ethical dilemmas, and consider the ramifications of alternative actions.
Now this is the one that I get confused about because I'm not teaching an ethics course in that my class isn't E-designated in the catalog. So I won't actually have to teach this, right?
Wrong. While this objective will primarily be met within E-designated courses, your course can still involve ethical discussions. Reiterating and reinforcing this content throughout the general education program is very important whether or not your course is E-designated. Just like your courses will also meet objectives for creative thinking. Includes opportunities for students to react to, think about, and analyze creative processes and works, as well as the chance for students to work in imaginative ways. These opportunities are characterized by a high degree of innovative thinking, risk-taking, and reflective thinking.
And global citizenship, which prepares students to be responsible and active citizens in a diverse and dynamic world. Students will examine how their ideas and actions impact the world around them.
So, I've been tracking so far, but I can't possibly meet all of these objectives in my class, plus the outcomes from the State Board of Education. It is just too much.
It is a lot, which is why that you need to remember that the GE program objectives are the big lessons that you remember from your education, and that these are program objectives. Your courses will align to these objectives, but not necessarily all of them or all of them equally. The GE Program Objectives are collectively the skills that our students should be able to demonstrate at the completion of their GE courses, not just your class.
Okay, I can breathe again. We can move on.
We've described the new alignments and their respective outcomes. Now comes the terminology associated with the evidence that our students are actually accomplishing what we say they are.
Student evidence of learning is demonstrated and assessed at multiple levels, supporting the multiple levels of alignment that we have been discussing.
It is absolutely important to remember that we are assessing whether or not students can provide evidence to meet our outcomes for continuous improvement of the course and program. These assessments tell us whether or not we have a poorly written outcome or if faculty collectively need more support to effectively meet a particular objective. They are not designed as faculty evaluations.
This seems like a lot, Courtney.
But you've already been assessing your students to be able to give them a grade, and you've already been providing evidence at the course level with the outcome assessments. So the only thing that will be new is at the programmatic level with signature assignments. And many of you have already been assessing your students with those big picture assignments that require your students to synthesize, analyze, and apply cumulative knowledge.
So, to summarize, the assessments that align to the SBOE GEM competencies come in the form of our outcome assessments. And the assessments that align to the general education objectives are the signature assignments, which demonstrate mastery of at least 2 objectives. For instance, if I have my students do a reflective essay about what they have learned during a service learning project, this can align to learn and make connections, and I don't have to worry about assessing the rest.
Exactly. The other piece of information that is important to remember is that we will have our students use an e-portfolio to capture these artifacts. You will be learning more about this technology at a later date. So, how'd we do?
Still confused? You can always try this strategy and listen to the recording again, or use your resources. We certainly know a lot more collectively than individually. Thanks for your time.